Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Shane Higgins. Welcome to another new video. Today, I just recently got back from a trip to my favorite city in all of Canada, Montreal in Quebec, and I would like to take you through the first day of my photo taking trip. I went on two separate adventures that I think are going to be really cool for you guys to learn about my thought process, what I was looking for when I was shooting, my settings, and then also how I dealt with the photos after I got home into the computer. So if you guys think that sounds like a pretty good video, hit the like button, subscribe, and follow along, and make sure you wait till the very end where I will show you how to get photos just like this panorama. Alright, I totally didn't film this twice and forget to press record both times, or the record button didn't work both times. Anyway, so after I got situated at my hotel, the Hotel Faubourg on René Lévesque Boulevard, I decided that I wanted to grab my camera and head down towards Old Montreal. Specifically, I wanted to go right to the port and get some shots of the Ferris wheel, which I will be showing you in just a couple minutes here. But on the way from René Lévesque Boulevard down to, I don't know, let's just say Old Montreal, the Notre Dame Basilica, you have to go through, you don't have to, but you end up going through Chinatown. So Chinatown in Montreal was established fairly early on in the city. The Asian community that was left over after work dried up from the Great Pacific Railroad settled in numerous places around Canada. Some of the earlier ones being West, where the work actually finished. So in like Victoria, British Columbia, or Vancouver, British Columbia. But then other Asian communities set up places in like Toronto, Montreal, I think even St. John, New Brunswick potentially, and then other smaller towns in Ontario specifically, such as like Kitchener. Yeah, and if there's more of them, I'm not sure of them. If you know anything more about Chinatowns and want to share it with me, I would love to see it in the comments. So the first picture that we got here is just the approach to Chinatown on René Lévesque Boulevard. I just wanted to get a little bit of movement with the traffic. So yeah, I will put my settings up on screen. But that's what I was thinking with this shot. I just wanted to capture a little bit of movement with the traffic and the people moving around and keep the still elements nice and sharp and stuff. I think it turned out to be a pretty good photograph. Then as you continue down René Lévesque Boulevard, where it intersects with, I believe it's called Hotel de Ville Rue, Hotel Village Street, the Hotel Village Street, it's something like that. There's a bunch of hotels there. Yeah, so at the four corners of where Chinatown is located, they have these beautiful ornate gates. So this first picture here shows the gate from behind the intersection there. Pretty standard shot. Just wanted to capture all the color and the movement in the area. It's a great area. And then after that, I got up close and personal to the gate and got these shots of the lion statues that are underneath the gate, and also a close-up of the gold lettering that's on the gate. If you know what the gate says, let me know in the comments below. I'd be curious to know. Then as you proceed downhill towards Old Montreal, you come across a street that goes parallel with René Lévesque Boulevard, and it's basically like an urban promenade slash pedestrian friendly street. It's not pedestrian only, it's just pedestrian friendly. One side of the street is looking like this, with the smaller gate that is concrete colored but still beautiful, just gorgeous. Yeah, and it's basically a utilitarian walkway. It's not real pretty, but across the street you get kind of like shops and benches and open space. And in that space, it's much more beautified. So as you can see, there's Chinese lanterns strung up down the street. Like I said, the shops are nice and they're on this tightly packed back street, and it just makes for a really beautiful area. I found that the guy with the high-vis jacket there really helped give a sense of scale and also a sense of urbanity. So if you've spent any time in the city, you'll know that in order to keep things looking beautiful like this, construction needs to go on all the time. And these guys do a fantastic job of making Chinatown beautiful. It's gorgeous. I don't know how else to put it. Oh, I think I did miss over one picture, so we'll just have a quick look at it. They're up back closer to the gate that we first showed. There is a mural. It's very Asian culturally. It's a beautiful mural. Not much more to say about that. And I think that's it for Chinatown. So let's continue on our journey. We are going to cross the highway near the Champ de Mars and Place d'Armes, kind of in between them, between the stations. They are metro stations. And we are going to continue on to Old Montreal. Alright, so as we continue down through Chinatown and heading towards Champ de Mars and Old Montreal, we have a couple of honorable mentions. I ran across this school bus after I crossed the highway, so I'll show you a couple pictures of that. I also got a couple good vantage points of the Jacques Cartier Bridge, which will be featured prominently in the next segment in this video. But the next real main stop that we got to was, I don't know how to put this, the City Hall complex. And the building that I feel like I got the best picture of throughout the day, this whole day, was of this Lucien Saunier building. So I set up at the bottom of this staircase to use the stairs as kind of like a leading line toward the building. The light was shining directly onto the face of this building, making for a nice contrast between the light face of the building and the darkish stairs. Yeah, this photo just turned out really good. It's one of my favorite photos that I took basically the whole trip, during the day especially. After that, I took a couple of shots back up at the Skyline for just to get a couple pictures of the downtown. Nothing real spectacular to talk about here, but downtown Montreal is always nice. And it was really foggy and moody. I could probably make a pretty cool edit out of this. If you guys would like to see me make a creative edit out of pictures like this, let me know in the comments, and I'll do some research and see what I can come up with. After that, I kind of went toward the Notre Dame complex. So you'll see in this picture here, I was taking photos of this statue of it's a family, a child, a mother, and a father, I believe, or something. I'm not exactly sure. But basically, one's reaching out for the child with the other kind of cocked back like this. It's a cool statue. Ended up timing it nice with my shutter speed pretty slow to catch the movement of this bus. I find this picture to be kind of funny. It kind of looks like they're hailing the bus and having a hard time. Then, as I was taking this shot, looking behind the statue, I noticed how the light was hitting this old style building really nicely. I think it's like a neoclassical type building, somewhere in there. It's possibly even like Gothic revival. I'm not exactly sure, but it's a beautiful style building. The only problem was I was kind of pointing back into the sun, so I decided to take an HDR image. So I'll show you the 3 exposures that I took, and then the final edit after I merged it. Turned out pretty good, I think. And after that, I basically just headed for the St. Lawrence. Down beside the plaza, I think it's called Place d'Armes, I think. It might be, I think that's what it is. Place d'Armes in Old Montreal. On either side of it is a really skinny tight street with like 2-story buildings on each side, with very little setback from the road. Some of the most beautiful streetscapes in all of Montreal, and every morning you go there, there's always photographers there. It's just a beautiful spot. Alright, if you've made it this far in this video, make sure you stick around till the end, because I'm going to show you the waterfront from this angle, and then during the sunset later on this evening, I'm going to show you it from the other angle. That's where I got the panorama from earlier, and I think it's worth sticking around till the end. There, I got some spectacular shots. So yeah, I went from the Place d'Armes, kind of at the top of Old Montreal, and I headed down to the waterfront on the St. Lawrence. And before we continue here, I just want to say this. This one photo shoot was really less planned in my mind and overall, compared to the rest of the shoots that I did on the trip. I was tired. I was worn out. I really didn't even want to go out taking photographs here, but I ended up getting some. I feel I did a better job photographing here than I did most of the rest of the trip, which is interesting. And that's kind of how I find life works. You end up, things happen when you least expect them, let's put it that way. So as I was approaching the St. Lawrence River in the old port area, I noticed that they had this portion here just beside the little island where the Ferris wheel is. They had it cordoned off for like a concert or some sort, and turns out it's called Igloo Fest. It looks like it's a pretty cool event. So I composed the Ferris wheel into a couple different spots. I think they all turned out pretty good. One of my favorites turned out to be this one here, where the Ferris wheel is underneath the gate. It just framed up really nice this way. I really like how this picture turned out. Then I went over to the bridge and used the handrail and the bridge itself as some leading lines towards the Ferris wheel. At this point I didn't realize, but the Ferris wheel was running, so I could have put on ND filter and lowered my shutter speed to capture some of the movement of the Ferris wheel, but like I said, I was tired, and I basically just I got what I got. I wasn't paying too close attention to my surroundings. Then I kind of crossed over the Ferris wheel and got to the St. Lawrence itself. I took a photo of the biosphere from the waterfront. We end up going over to the park later, so make sure you stick around. I get some really cool shots of the biosphere from the island when I'm there later on this evening. And then if you've ever been to Montreal before and you've seen like framed pictures of the city, you've probably seen this scene exactly here, with the old port clock tower, with the Jacques Cartier Bridge in the background. I think there was a photo of this in my hotel room, to be honest. So I set up for the classic shot. Let me show you the Canon HDR in camera. And now I will show you the 3 exposures that I took for the HDR, because it was a super bright scene. The clock tower was white and the sun was shining right on it, so there was just blown out highlights everywhere. So I did an automatic exposure bracket, and it turned out really good, I think. After that, I turned around 180 degrees to look the other way down the river and got this shot of Habitat 67. If you guys don't know anything about Habitat 67, it's basically a housing revolution movement basically that was going on in Quebec in I'm not sure what time period. I will put up a card to it here. It's a fascinating story. You should read about it. If you'd like me to make a video on it, I will, but there's better people out there to watch videos of that stuff on. I'm not from there. After that, I turned around, head back toward the Ferris wheel, and I saw that we could see the Bon Secours market with the pirate ship playground type thing. By the way, that's where the zip line is in the summertime, so if you're looking for the zip line in the summertime, head toward the pirate ship in the Bon Secours market dome there. You can't miss it. But anyway, we headed back that way. I got that picture of it, and then I noticed that there was a Zamboni driver who was taking care of the skating rink that was behind the Ferris wheel. And I thought that made for a really Canadian scene, so I took a bunch of photos of him. So other than a couple of honorable mentions, that basically does it for my first photography outing of my trip. It turned out to be really successful, really happy with the first run out. After that, I can't remember what I got some breakfast of some sort and headed back to the hotel and took a nap. And that nap turned into like 4 or 5 hours of deep sleep. If you know anything about traveling, it's hard to get good rest while you're on the move. But this ended up working out good. I looked out the window and it was kind of just getting to be that golden-ish hour. So I did a map route of how to get to the metro station I needed to get to, and then I headed over to Parc Jean Drapeau. So let's head on over to the park. Alright, so on my way over to the island, I managed to catch this guy walking up this side street, and the street lights were on. I think this is just a block up towards St. Catharines, somewhere near Barrie-UQAM. Anyway, there's side streets like this everywhere in Montreal. Literally, you can't go a block without seeing something similar to this. But I thought this composition worked out pretty good with the one guy going out of frame this way and the one guy coming toward the camera. So after that, after we got to the island, like I said, I was treated to just a beautiful scene. It was super orange and yellow when I first got to the island, and it was still light out. So it was full golden hour right when I got to the island. If you know anything about Parc Jean Drapeau, it's where the biosphere is located. There's also like an amusement park on the other side of the island. It's not accessible right now, I don't think. And then it kind of leads up to this really weird looking, this photo will be out of order, but there's this weird looking sculpture from France there. It's very interesting. It looks like a giant creepy spider. And also right by this spider, at this point in time, there was another skating rink, more like a track that went around in a loop, and it was really, really beautiful. They had it lit up really nice and stuff. I'll show you pictures of it a little bit into this because I waited until it got a little darker. They had like purple lights on it. It looked so pretty. So yeah, basically from this point on, I just put on my 55 to 210 millimeter lens, and I started taking pictures of the skyline. I did a few different sets as the lights were coming on and the sunset was continuing to go on. I also took some HDR photos in camera. I'll show you those now. And before we get to the panda that I showed you in the intro, I also put on a wide-angle lens at some point and took a couple different photos. I wanted to get like the sculpture and stuff, and a picture of the skating rink, which you're seeing now. It was such a beautiful scene. But after I was done getting those couple of photos, I put back on the 55 to 210, and then I took these two photos, stitched them together to make that panda that you saw in the intro. And I do believe this is my favorite picture that I've ever taken on this camera. Like I said, it was 2 pictures in 3x2 stitched together, and they stitched together really nice. How I lined it up and stuff was basically I picked a center point in the city, like an endpoint on either side. So I knew that the Ferris wheel was going to be the endpoint on one side, and basically the end of the Skyline was going to be the other end. So I tried to pick a spot in the very center of that to pivot from, basically. So I set my tripod there, and then, you know, rotate the camera until I got the frame that I wanted, and then did the other side. That's how I lined it up, and it worked out really, really nice. It stitched together just perfect. Check out that Ferris wheel with a little bit of movement, because I needed to open the shutter speed, slow it down just a little bit, so you really got the movement of the Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel was not moving fast at all. After that, I basically just framed the city underneath the weird sculpture thing, which I thought turned out to also be a pretty cool picture. And other than that, I just got a picture of the train when I left, and that was the end of my photography day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to let me know with a comment, or at the very least a like. And if you did like this content, make sure that you subscribe so that you catch anything new that I do going forward. I'm going to continue doing videos like this. This is kind of the way that I want to take the channel. Hopefully you guys like the whole mindset thing. Alright, and until next time, guys, we'll catch you then. Peace.